Morning. Welcome to season three, episode three. This is not a podcast. This is a webinar of the Brokers Market Better. We're just going to give everyone just a few moments to settle in and get ready for a very short but powerful part three of our webinar series. So again, I'm Krish Dhokia. You'll see, I think you might see Delphino Aguilar on the call as well. So again, we over the last couple of weeks, so we started the series back in December, and you can go back and watch the previous webinars. They are available, and so after this call, you'll get an email with a follow up of this webinar and other previous webinars as well. But over the last couple of weeks, we've covered marketing, planning, and strategies for 2024. We kicked off the year with knowing some really cool strategies on how to build your plan and do more with it. We also covered, a number of pieces around how to be utilize social media for your benefit. As mortgage brokers are kind of attempting to kind of continue to build their brand in 2024, getting ready to be in front of the customer, in front of the realtor partners, with the products, with the programs, and really kind of, one of the big takeaways we had last webinar was the persona project, which as we go through this training series, we talk about audiences and audience building and personas quite frequently. So if you haven't had an opportunity to dig into that little presentation fillable deck, I would strongly urge you to. If you haven't joined the Brokers Market Better Trading Series private group on Facebook, definitely do that as well, because we have a number of takeaways and we're going to be adding a lot more value there as well. So without further ado, we're going to get started. And again, I'm Krish Dhokia, lead marketing here at Kind Lending. I've spoken to a number of you in that group. So again, the Facebook group is a wonderful place to start asking those questions. So what are we covering today? Two things, actually really one thing: marketing automation. And I think the tagline for the event, as we were sharing it and inviting everyone to it, was, should you do it or not? Well, it's kind of a no-brainer, right? Marketing automation, or automation in general, should help alleviate some of your pain points, free up some more time, make you more efficient. But what is marketing automation? How is it different from, I guess, all the other automation out there in the world? It's technology, right? It's utilizing varying technology to manage your processes, to become more efficient, to schedule and share content and deliver messaging to your audience, right? Which in this case, most cases, your business partners, your realtor partners, and your consumers, home buyers. It's not a new concept, right? It's like when a lot of you have probably been, your ears have been ringing all of 2023 about AI, or machine learning. Those are not new concepts, and neither is marketing automation. It is just at this juncture in technology, it's become readily available, right? It's everywhere. There are some free, low cost, and sometimes cost prohibitive solutions. And what we want to be able to do here with this webinar and through the Brokers Market Better Facebook group is provide some free, low cost opportunities for you to try out, right? There's a lot of vetted processing that happens with marketing automation. It's not just, hey, we're going to throw you some tools and say, hey, go try it. It's either we've tried it or we've done some research on it. So typically, marketing automation, and for years past, has always been email marketing. It's been like the go-to, and that's all anyone kind of strives to accomplish when it comes to efficiency. But it's just much more than that. So we're going to have 8 tips, not really 8 tips, 8 segments of marketing automation. And, some of them you already should have or may have already kind of established, but there's opportunity for growth in all of them. And then, feel free to jot this down, the segments and say, hey, you know what? This year, 2024, that's the automation that I need, right? So think back to all of the marketing efforts that you might be doing, whether it's, I don't know, a post-close campaign or, I don't know, posting, content, social media frequently on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn, whatever it may be. And then think about how much time you're spending doing it and how much time you could save if there was a tool that you could kind of go in on a Monday, drop it all in, and it, is sharing for the week, right, or the monthly in some cases. So let's go ahead and get through. I know we got quite a few people still joining, but that's fine. So the 8 segments of marketing automation. And real quick, if anyone has any questions, please feel free to ask. Mackenzie Higgins, our marketing manager, is going to be fielding those questions live as well. But 8 types of marketing automation. Okay, so close this. I'm not sure you see that. Okay, number 1. Give me a second. I can't even see the titles. Okay, CRM automation. So at this point, all of you, I hope, are utilizing some form or fashion of a CRM. And the evolution of CRMs, which again stands for Customer Relationship Management Systems, is, the number one tool in a marketing organization, in a sales organization, in your organization. You should have some record of your contacts in a database. Okay. There are a lot of free or really low cost options out there. And again, as we, after this event, or after this webinar rather, we'll continue to start adding those opportunities out there, whether it's through video, whether it's through just links that you can kind of go find out more about. There's so many out there. I mean, there's probably as many CRM options as people, but how many of them kind of focus on mortgage? Now, all of them have to, but think about your CRM. If you remember the Rolodex, and I mentioned this on a previous webinar, the Rolodex was what we used, right? We either wrote down someone's information and we flipped it, was alphabetical, or you just dropped in typed a business card on there and, used that, right? I want to say my dad may still have one somewhere in the attic, but I'll have to fly to Atlanta and find out one day. But that's what the CRM is, right? It's the contact database. However, the automations available in most CRMs today are by default there. It's just that most folks that have a CRM have components of it that are just underutilized. Before you just up and leave the CRM that you're with, do the due diligence to see what else it has. So in some cases, it's just add-ons, and you have, they want a little bit more money. It's their pricing model. Most of the time, they're just stuff that you haven't used. So is every contact in your database today attached to some sort of email drip campaign? If not, consider that, right? Because we oftentimes will generate these leads and we'll put them in there, and they're like, you know what, have you done any lead scoring? Right. We're going to get into the lead generation piece of it as well, but lead scoring is like hot, warm, medium, whatever, but attaching them to some sort of campaign, and then also utilizing opportunities, right? Like birthdays is a perfect example. If you have someone's birthday, then you should build some kind of condition or rule or a trigger to tell you when you log into your platform every morning that it's someone's birthday, right? Use the data to give you opportunities. So CRM automation, there's a lot of automation that can happen there. And again, we're going to dig deeper into this one category specifically through our conversations and discussions in the group. And again, anyone that's joining, if I didn't already mention, we do have a Facebook group. It's a private closed group. There's a link on the end of this webinar today to join that group. All right, number 2, my favorite, right? Social media automation. Now, last webinar, we spoke a lot more about social media. But is it the best use of your time? But there's probably a lot of people on this call that are like, man, like here goes another conversation about social. But if you are sharing on social media, there's a lot of free tools already out there. In fact, a lot of them are within the apps themselves to allow you to syndicate content, right, in more than one place at any given time. So, Meta is a great example. If you have an Instagram account and you have connected it to your Facebook business page or Facebook account, you essentially can post a post on Instagram and it will share to Facebook. Time save, right? Maybe it's a millisecond that you've saved, but it adds up over time. And same thing with Instagram stories. You can share to your Facebook stories. On Facebook natively, you can actually schedule posts. So again, these are all inside the platforms. And then even on, I think on TikTok, on Twitter, I don't know if on Twitter, but there's quite a few platforms that have native internal opportunities to schedule content. Now, outside of that, and again, in the Facebook group, we will share other platforms, right? That are pay for play kind of deal. So there's Sprout Social, there's Hootsuite, there's a number of big ones out there. There's some smaller ones as well, and lower cost, right? So hey, if you're only going to share to like 3 or 4 platforms, you can do it. Connect your accounts and do it all from one place. I highly encourage that if you're in multiple platforms. Truly, if you're trying to make a stamp on, say, LinkedIn, Pinterest, Instagram, Facebook, whatever, YouTube, you can schedule from one place. And what helps you there is instead of then going natively into each account and posting and then seeing how well the posts were, some of these accounts allow you to engage back from within one platform, right? So, hey, you want to comment back on the LinkedIn post that someone liked or commented, engaged with you, or Facebook or whatever, you can do it all from one central location. Additionally, it helps you, most of these pay for platforms have calendars, right? So you create a calendar, hey, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I'm going to post, a co-marketing effort, or I'm going to post just closed or whatever, closed, funded in so many days. You might choose to, post a selfie on one day or your favorite restaurant on another to give you that community engagement as well. There's a number of things that you can do, but it's a great opportunity to plan in one place and watch the metrics and analytics for that social media. And I can geek out on social media, so I could probably have another webinar, just social media automation. But advertising automation on the cusp of what we did on the last webinar was talk about audience building and personas, utilizing what your audience is and the behavior and creating advertising for them. A perfect example, for instance, your website, and if you've attached Google Analytics, you then have data to then inform you on how to advertise to them, right? So if blanket would be, hey, 99 out of 100 people visited the mortgage calculator on my website, then maybe you need to have an ad from the homepage pushing people to the mortgage calculator because it is the most important. Or taking that mortgage calculator page and adding some additional ads for other parts of your website. You can basically then, if you know the consumer's behavior of where they're landing on your site and why they're there, and you have really good content, but it's just undiscovered, you can then advertise internally on your website to other parts of your site to get them to those other places. Maybe it's the apply now button or whatever. Have those everywhere. So, and then, basically on advertising as well, then you go out to the masses and say, hey, you know what? I want to do an ad on Facebook about mortgage calculators because it is the number one search thing in real estate and mortgage. So you, again, utilizing your data to change behaviors and create the opportunities for your consumers to engage with you. And they feel like it was about them. That's what they were thinking about, is the calculator. So, all right, mobile automation. We started talking about email marketing is not all that's available with automation. Well, mobile is part of that, right? As we progress more and more into this digital mobile world, people want to be able to see you on their phone, right? And whether it's a text message or whatever, but your website, for example, create those automations on your website. Also, uh, kind of off of this piece is as you build your CRM and you should have triggers and notifications coming to your own personal mobile device, right? So that you can act quicker and faster. But mobile marketing automation is about personalization. Uh, and because of the ability to run ads on mobile, like TikTok and Instagram are highly mobile devices, running ads on those platforms specific to mobile devices, right? Not just like this big wide graphic that's only going to be viewed on a desktop or whatever. Um, but using mobile, so there are mobile apps today, and we're going to share those again in the Facebook group that you can run different types of campaigns straight from your phone. A lot of platforms, i.e., MailChimp and things like that, have a really cool mobile device that you can then run things from your phone. A lot of us are on the go. That's the other part of it, right? Um, I can comfortably say, and I do a lot on my phone, right? Like Canvas and all of these other things. I can do 75%, if not more, of my day-to-day business from my phone if I chose to. And so it's important that, the partners that you pick and the things that you do, like even here at Kind, our Quickie platform, our broker portal plug, of course, is mobile friendly. And I think that's important, right? That as you lead your business or you're driving to appointments or you are networking with agents or going to their, closings or whatever, go into your own closings, go into their open houses, all of those things. You're mobile. Now, disclaimer, do not text and drive, right? Don't run your business from your phone while you are driving. However, if you have to run it, I mean, this device has internet connection. And so all of your marketing efforts should be able to, in some form of fashion, in a group folder, you should be able to run it from there. And I prefaced with 75% because there are just some things that you need to sit down, pop up your laptop, whatever, and do those things. But majority of it, analytics of it, should be able to be viewed on your phone. So keep that in mind as you build out your automations for this year. All right, analytics. I geek out on data a lot, and everything kind of revolves in some form of fashion around data. In marketing, we want to measure our KPIs, we want to really measure our ROIs, and we love our acronyms. All that to say, your email, social media, your blogs, your articles, your websites, your ads, all of those can be measured. How does automation come into that? Well, there's a lot of opportunities to take pieces of that data, combine them, filter them, integrate them, whatever, and they come up with triggers. How helpful would it be if you knew that all of your home buyers in the last 12 months had this one um, common trait, right? And going back to the mortgage calculator, they all landed on the mortgage calculator on the website, right? Um, then that arms you with maybe, hey, you know what? In 12 months' time, as post close campaign, that you send them a like an amortization calculator or something. I don't know. It's We have all of this data, and this is true to the entire industry and to every sales kind of industry. Really, is we have this data, but it's untapped. You have your data. How do you create segmented audience through persona and audience creation? How do you create specific social graphics that meet the need of that person or that group of people, whatever. The best award-winning marketing campaigns have tapped into data, right? The days of just seeing if something works or slapping something against the wall and seeing if it sticks, those days are gone. So as you go through these automations, if it's measurable, if you can account for it, if there's accountability through analytics, that might be more of your top or easier one to kind of solve for. So social media, again, they have internal insights in most cases or analytics in most cases. Your website should have Google Analytics. In fact, if you don't have Google Analytics, again, the broker marketing group, Brokers Market Better Facebook group, I will be adding easy steps to add Google Analytics to your webpage. It's super important. It's free, and you can have some high level and actually some deeper analytics on what the traffic is on your website, where it's coming from, yada yada yada. So we'll add that piece. Okay. Number 6, email automation. Now, we started this whole conversation today talking about marketing automation is more than just email, but it's still very important, right? I think that the days of those of you that remember mortgage returns, which was like the earth-shattering, amazing post-close campaign of years past, and I think they've done more things since then. But I remember in 2015, 16, when I got into the industry, mortgage returns might have been the only biggest solve for this 5-year, 10-year post-close campaign to keep your past clients top of mind, or you top of mind to your past clients. And it's evolved immensely since then, right? It's then started, folks have started using data to infiltrate their post-close campaigns. So first, you'll have a post-close campaign and you're clamoring to see how you can get in touch with your past client 1 year after they closed. That's a huge miss. I implore you to set something up. Typically, a 5-year campaign is more than enough because most home buyers will have, I don't know what the percentage is, but bought or sold since then, right? So have an opportunity to create automation to get people on the campaign. You have a contact in your CRM and maybe you check a box and now they're attached to this campaign for 5 years. And the campaign is driven by data, automated for the look and feel to give more personalization. So again, maybe they get a birthday email, right? Because you have their birthday. Maybe they get a 1-year anniversary when, because the date they funded. Maybe it's like the winter tips and whatever, right? These are very basic communications throughout the course of the year to keep you in front of them. But then think about email automation for your leads that you put in, or that you've, realtor partners that you've put in. And there should be email automation set up for everyone. There's no time that they should never be on a campaign. It's just how frequently, right? And then other parts of the email automation is using data to take them off, right? If you're, for example, if you're promoting, hey, come, you're a first-time home buyer, come work with me, and they were a pipeline business, and then they've taken the step, they apped or whatever, you should have some type of automation to say, okay, the minute I put in that they have apped into the contact database, they automatically go and turn off on this campaign. Because what you don't want to have happen, and it happens frequently, is you're sending out communications that are either stale or not appropriate, right? Not part of the sales cycle anymore. But if you are a rock star, which I know all of you are, and you have hundreds of leads like this in your pipeline, and you've one at a time attached them to the campaign, there is no sure way of you making sure you take them off. That's not automation. That's the actual inverse of it. So because you're manually doing it. So be sure to create some rule or some condition. Now, most CRMs have some kind of support system, and at the very least a ticketing system. So feel free, you definitely reach out to those folks like, hey, this is what I'm trying to accomplish. I don't want to leave this platform. I love it. I just need to do more with it. Can you show me? Many of them will sit down and offer free trainings or send you some videos that you can then share with you could use, or your teams could use as well. So take email automation this year to the next level. And let's see, number 7, lead gen. I know you guys love it. I love the terminology, speed to lead, right? Whether you're purchasing leads, whether you're curating your own leads from your ads, or whether it's just networking leads that you've obtained, you have to make sure that one, that you add them to your CRM, right? There is no automation from the lead gen if they're not appearing in your CRM. There's automated ways to do that. Zapier, we haven't figured out how to say it yet, but Zapier's been around for maybe 15 years at this point, and they've made it awfully easy to connect one place to another, like a form to your CRM, in record time, right? It flies around the world, hits a satellite, and ends up in your CRM. But that's not enough. You have to have the campaign, or the drip campaign, built in on the back end of it. Now, let's focus just for a few seconds on lead generation platforms. There's a ton out there, and most of them will send you an email, and then you get the email, and you will hopefully call them back, or but oftentimes it's sold to multiple places. Leads are expensive today. They're far from few, but speed is everything, as you know. Perfect. A quick sidetrack example. I had a guy who was running leads years and years ago in the retail model years ago, and he was paying an absorbent amount of money for leads, and he would never answer his phone. This is back when they did live lead transfers, and he wouldn't answer his phone because didn't answer phone calls from people he didn't know or something, and so he would just miss out on all these leads. But if he had, and he was the first one to answer, he might have gotten that business. The ROI and conversion rates go up, right? So speed to lead. Your CRM needs to be the source of truth. You have to create tags so you can separate what came from where, because what we don't do in this industry is ask everyone, like, hey, so how did you hear about us? Sometimes there's very awkward questions, like, I'm just thankful you just called me, right? But you want to know where they're coming from. So in your internal CRM, in addition to adding them to some pipeline drip campaign, maybe it's like you have a tiered campaigns for hot, warm, and cold leads. You should also make sure that you have a trigger built in there, because the behavior that you're trying to change is you have all this automation happening, so you have more time to make sure you log into your CRM each morning and running your business from this platform. And again, I imagine a lot of you already do that, but have use this opportunity to build more segmented campaigns, right? A new first-time home buyer VA campaign, a first-time home buyer, that has 6 months left on their lease, that they're renting, right? So they're 6 months in the future pipeline business. And when you get drilled down to those levels of campaigns, you're then building kind of a personalized experience of customer journey. Okay. And then lastly, omni-channel automation. It's about creating a unified brand experience across multiple channels, right? When you do that, you don't have to, when I say that is, it's more than just your logo, okay? Sure, is it nice to have 8 different social media channels with the same logo and same intro or whatever? That's important. That's part of your brand, right? But the automation then goes a little bit deeper. Is once you have all those email campaigns, all your lead generation campaigns, your mobile campaigns, all this automation, the scheduling, then the omni-channel is the last part, is where you then create even more deeper content creation or specific content personalized to those platforms, right? So perfect example, right? We know that the age, we're equal housing, right? So we don't go target by age, but we know that the audience on Facebook is generally kind of a slightly older than your Instagram users or maybe your TikTok users, right? And that's not true everywhere, but there's a lot of stats that support that. So if you're a fun and energetic brand, you can totally create more fun stuff one place, or maybe tongue in cheek, right? We do a little bit of tongue in cheek here at Kind, in one place, and maybe a little bit more serious than the other. Maybe you're talking more products on one platform than the other. But it needs to be part of your strategy. It's like not just sharing the same graphic across 8 different mediums. Is it, hey, this graphic makes sense on these 3 platforms, and these other 4 platforms and email, I'm going to do something slightly different. And you've probably seen it, right? If Coca-Cola runs an ad on Facebook, it's shortened on Twitter, it's a little different on Instagram, and on email, it might be, just very high level. So think about how you want to filter that, because if it's the same exact message, they're not going to follow you anywhere else, because, hey, whether it's Facebook or Instagram, Facebook and LinkedIn, they're just saying the same thing in both places. I'm just going to follow one. You want them to follow you everywhere that you're posting a brand. So I know we're at time. So again, Brokers Market Better Facebook group. We've got a ton of content scheduled for that group and discussions to start. A lot of automation tools that we want to be able to share with you for you to test out, to see what you think. And yeah, so, and then lastly, shameless plug. Oops, I missed it. There it goes. The Krish Marketing Podcast. You may have heard about it in the Mortgage Professional America magazine here last week. We've got a number of new episodes coming. I think we've done about 7 episodes at this point. So feel free to check those out. Share them with your realtors, because a lot of this content is not just mortgage facing, it's realtor facing as well. So give them an opportunity to learn about marketing. So thank you so much for joining. We really appreciate all of you making the time this morning, this early, especially here from the West Coast. And happy Wednesday. And be looking for the email communication after. Happy Wednesday. Thanks so much. Oh, keep curious and keep marketing.